How you doing? Anthony Ferraro here at Crazy Sci-Fi. No surprise I'm at the dollar store. But what is a surprise is I'm here today for Halloween. I do a lot of mashups of props and costumes from the dollar store, and it's Halloween time, so I thought it would be fun to do something more Halloween themed and sort of available to everyone. Now, remember, the principles are universal, so I have no idea what I'm going to find in there today, but the idea is to go in there, spend only about $5, and you can go in the dollar store and get a mask or something for Halloween, but you know, it's from the dollar store. But if we go in there, spend $5, do a little arts and crafts, we can come up with something like really cool and unique. So again, no idea what we're gonna get in there. Only wanna spend around $5. And it's a Halloween mashup spooktacular. Okay, so the first thing we do is assemble our victims. All right, so now I just kind of basically think, okay, this could go here, start taking things apart. These flowers, they're black, so I think I'll use them at some point, probably as like a lapel pin. And then here's the main piece. So there's the mask, and then the second mask, I'm going to mash up into this mask, right? So to give it a little extra something. So the first thing I do is when I test fit this on my head off camera, the top of the mask and the hat don't want to go together. It's either the mask or the hat. So I'm just going to remove the top of this mask, just right around that ridge line. There's already a line there sort of built into the mask that I can follow, and I'm just using the cutting wheel on my Dremel. And now I'm just going to take the sanding drum, because that tool is a little rough, and just smooth out that cut. So now sandpaper, right? We want it to accept paint and to accept some glue. So just sand this down. You know, they're small pieces, so get the whole thing. And then a final pass with Scotch-Brite, and that's just to make sure that I didn't miss any of the smaller crooks or crannies. And that looks cool. Now the eyes, I always find in a mask, it's more effective if you can't see the eyes. So I have this material in my scrap bin. I don't know where I got it from. And I'm just going to super glue this into the eye sockets. And what this is going to do is, because the mask is, you know, about an inch away from your face, especially at night when you have the hat on, it's going to black out your eyes. Now, this is just for me. This is an extra step. You can do this or not. These masks are cheap, so they hurt your face. So I have foam. If you don't have foam, craft foam, you can use an old yoga mat. And what I'm doing is just cutting a few little segments that I'm gonna glue onto the inside of the mask. And that's just gonna make it more comfortable to wear, right? These things are hard plastic. Here I'm just making a couple cheek pieces. And I'm just using super glue. And this is very simple, but you'll be glad you did this, right? This will make your night more enjoyable. Nothing worse than having a costume that is irritating you. And we're customizing, right? So here, this is probably the most important one. This is the bridge of the nose, and I just put a soft piece on there. So now my eye socket mesh, the glue is cured, so I'm just going to trim that out. And yeah, that just gives it a little extra, right? We're customizing. All right, so now I have these crystals in my bin of stuff, and I'm just gonna add these. That's the one I harvested from the other mask. And this is just, I'm just looking for ways that I can just add a little extra touch that subliminally, you know, when people see this, they just pick up on that it's something a little extra, right? It's got a little craft into it. You don't have to go crazy. And again, you know, it's dealer's choice, right? It's just whatever you think. And I test fit that, and that's coming along nicely. Very nicely, in fact. All right, so now I'm going to go for it, and I'm just going to glue the small mask onto the large mask. I'm just using hot glue for this. You can use super glue. I used hot glue because I knew I'd want to futz around with the placement, and the hot glue gives me a couple seconds to do that. And there we go, coming along nicely. All right, so now I have some Plastidip that I want to line the inside with, just because I know I'm going to be sweating in there. And Plastidip, you know, that's just a truck bed liner that we use a lot when using foam. And that's just gonna give it a nice interior. Again, I'm just customizing this. You can skip this step. Because I wanna get this done in one day, I use a hairdryer to warm that up and to dry it. And now just black primer over the whole thing. And while that paint is drying, I'm just gonna take these little elements that I harvested from the mask. And what I'm gonna do is I have just some simple safety pins, you know, and I'm going to take hot glue and I'm gonna hot glue it on the back. Before I do that, there's a couple little green pieces on here that I think would be cooler black. So I just have some black nail polish so I can bang that out. And I'm just putting a glob of hot glue on the back, and then I'm setting the pin in there. Be careful, because you can burn your finger. That's it, really simple. But these are gonna be nice little details. All right, so there's the flat black piece. Now we're gonna paint it. Now you could leave it just like that, but that wouldn't be much different than just a basic dollar store. So what I'm gonna do is some silver, and we're just gonna do a dry brush, and this is gonna give it that metallic look. And I think I'm just gonna hit those gems with a red. All right, so just a little tiny bit of paint, wipe it off on a paper towel, and we're just gonna lightly brush the whole thing. Now this is not really a dry brushing. A dry brushing would be if you just did the edges. This is gonna be more of like a gunmetal treatment. We're just gonna lightly dust the entire piece, and it's gonna give us that metallic look. And already that looks like a more elegant piece, right? Why not elegant? So now I'm gonna take some metallic red, and I'm just gonna touch these little gemstones. Again, I don't wanna make them pop. I just wanna give them a little bit of love. That looks cool. Yeah, it's a little pink, but that's all right because it's subdued. And now I'm gonna take silver rub and buff just a tiny bit, because you could really blow it with this. So now on the high spots, just with my finger, places that I think would be grabbing the light, I just put it on. And now, because of the paint job, I've gotten silver on that mesh, and I really want those eyes to black out. So I just hit those with some black, and we're gonna clear coat the whole thing. All right, so while that's drying, let's test out our lapel pin. So that is good. That's gonna be on our lapel. And this other feather piece, I'm going to put on the front of this top hat. And it's just adding value to this top hat. And with that simple process of repurposing that feather from the side of some other dollar mask and putting it on the front of this hat, you're really making this hat a special piece for no money, no effort, really. Let's look at where we came from to where we went. Pretty cool. Under $5. Very spooktacular. Happy Halloween. All right, now that was under $5, right? And I'm just so happy about that. I mean, it's just about the mashup, right? It's like you could have just a basic mask or whatever for $1, go to a party, be fine. But you know, this took under an hour. It's custom, and I think that's just a lot more fun. So we have the little rose, so just wear like a blazer, pop that on there, the hat, and you're good. And also, I made this because I had to travel. I was at the Film Quest Festival, which is an amazing genre festival that I highly recommend if you're submitting your film somewhere. And one of the nights they had a party, a fancy dress party, carnival themed. And I traveled with this. The hat, just stuffed it with socks and t-shirts, put it in my bag. This traveled fine. It's plastic. And there you go. Well, as always, I hope you found this video helpful. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I'd love to read the comments. And be sure to sign up for the email newsletter. And remember, I'm just here to help make sci-fi. And in October, Halloween!